friends? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the newest release from one of our favorite brands, Charlotte Tilbury. This is going to be my review of the new Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Concealer. As with all of my concealer and foundation reviews, I'm going to be doing a natural daylight application for you all, showing how I like to apply this concealer, a 12-hour wear test. We're going to be diving into the ingredients, and then of course at the end, I'm going to be telling you guys if I think this concealer is worth it. So if you guys are interested in hearing more about that, then keep watching. And if this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Sophia, and this is my channel where we talk about all things beauty and luxury. Every single week I upload content on all the newest beauty releases. If you are a fan of Charlotte Tilbury and other Sephora brands, especially those that are a little bit on the luxury and higher end, then you are in the right place. Hit that subscribe button to join the fam because we have so much fun over here on this channel. And you can also hit the notification bell to hear about every time I upload a new video. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. It really helps me out. And as always, I will be linking everything that I mentioned in this video in the description box down below. Anything that's on my face, it'll be linked down below. Just know some of my links are affiliate links. So when you purchase through those links, I do get a very small commission at no additional cost to you. You definitely don't need to use them if you don't want to, but it is a really great and free way for you to support my channel. All right, so let's talk about this concealer. I have had this concealer for maybe about 2 weeks now. I have been using this pretty much exclusively. I have what I think is a very good feel for this concealer. How it works, I've worn it to special events, to weddings, out in the heat, working out, working from home, so many different situations. So I feel really confident in this review. I was super excited to try this concealer. Number one, because I really didn't like the Beautiful Skin Foundation from Charlotte Tilbury. I do have a full review of that foundation. Very similar with like a wear test, daylight application. I didn't get on very well with that foundation, but you know what? I'm an optimist and I am here once again trying out Charlotte Tilbury complexion products. The other reason why I wanted to give this a try is because I really don't have any Charlotte Tilbury complexion products that I really like. And what I mean by that is foundations and concealers. I haven't tried that many, and also the ones that I have tried, I haven't really cared for that much. I did try I believe it's called the Magic Away concealer that she launched. Gosh, I guess it was like maybe about 3 years ago at this point. I hated the packaging. I really didn't like the component. I didn't like the sponge tip applicator at all. And so when I saw this was going to be like more of traditional packaging, and it's also marketed as a hydrating concealer, then I was really excited to give it a try. In terms of the price, this retails for $33, which kind of puts it right in between maybe like a NARS creamy concealer and maybe like a Dior concealer if you kind of look on Sephora and you compare the prices, which I think is pretty typical from Charlotte Tilbury. They're a luxury brand, but they're not as expensive as maybe a Tom Ford, a Chanel, etc. So the $33 is expected. This comes in 30 shades, which I think is pretty good for a concealer, especially starting out. Comment down below, let me know what you think of the shade range. I'll talk a little bit later in the application. I bought 2 shades. The one that works for me is 2.5, but I did find it a little bit difficult to kind of choose my shade. I think that especially with the fair shades, they run a little bit lighter than I was expecting than what I saw on the Charlotte Tilbury website. Let's read the description about this on the Charlotte Tilbury website. I do want to be able to comment on each of the claims that she is making about this concealer. So on her website, it says, "Darlings, brighten, smooth, and lift the look of your eyes and face with the new Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer, a hydrating concealer with a medium buildable coverage and 16-hour wear, and 10% active skincare ingredients. Use it to conceal, correct, and contour for an instant face and eye lift effect." I'm like kind of chuckling as I say this because half of the words are in all caps. Like if you ever go on the Charlotte Tilbury website, not only are there a million pop-ups, I hate her website. Sorry, Charlotte Tilbury. Love your products. Hate your website, but all of the marketing copy is in all caps. I just feel like Charlotte Tilbury is like yelling at me at all times. So I'm kind of chuckling as I say this because I feel like it should be more extreme. But anyway, what are the takeaways here? This is supposed to be hydrating. It's supposed to be long wearing, brightening, buildable, basically everything that I want from a concealer, so I was very excited to give this a try. The other thing that it says is that it has 10% active skincare ingredients. We've been seeing this not only from Charlotte Tilbury, but from a lot of other brands lately, especially the American market. We are very much into skincare infused makeup, and so that's kind of the direction that Charlotte Tilbury has been going. What I'm gonna do right now is just kind of dive into the ingredients quickly to give you guys my thoughts on that claim of having 10% active skincare skincare ingredients. There are several ingredients here that she's marketing as a part of this concealer. The first thing that I want to mention is that compared to the Beautiful Skin Foundation, the actives that are between the two, they're pretty different. I would say the main active that both of them share is hyaluronic acid. That being said, hyaluronic acid is a little bit lower on the list for the concealer, which personally for me, I'm very happy about. The hyaluronic acid that was in the foundation and pretty much every other hyaluronic acid foundation that I have tried this year has really messed up my skin. My skin does not like that. Those foundations, I think they work really well if you live in a humid environment where you already have a lot of moisture being held into your skin. If you're like me and you're trying this in the New England winter, the hydration is just not going to stay there. You need something that really seals that in. So I was happy that this was a little bit lower on the list, but in terms of the other ingredients that are in this concealer, the ones that are at the top of the ingredients list are mostly ingredients that contribute to the really nice creamy, spreadable texture of this, kind of like that non-greasy, soft skin feel. You'll see in the application, it's a really nice, creamy, blendable formula. And then as we kind of go down the list, you start to see some active ingredients. So what do we see? The one that is highest on the list is niacinamide. This is marketed in the marketing copy on the Charlotte Tilbury website. Niacinamide is one that they call out. This is a pretty common ingredient. Like it's not anything groundbreaking. It's a great ingredient. There's science behind it. It is brightening. It says here pore refining niacinamide. Niacinamide is a pretty common ingredient that you see in drugstore formulations. You might even be using niacinamide in some of your moisturizers, for example, and not even know it. Some of the other ingredients that are touted in the marketing that I do see in the ingredients list are also vegan collagen. Now, Charlotte Tilbury says this is to improve the look of your skin every time you wear it for skin that feels plumper and smoother. When I researched this ingredient, I found that there's really not a lot of science around it being kind of like an anti-aging type of ingredient. It really is a great humectant. It's really moisturizing for the skin. So I was glad to see this, although I do think the marketing copy is a little bit misleading. Like when I read that, I thought, oh, it's for anti-aging, but there's really not a lot of science around putting collagen on top of the skin and it being an anti-aging ingredient. I'm not a cosmetic chemist, I'm not a dermatologist, but this is just what I've read. Some other ingredients that are in there as you get, once again, a little bit lower on the list are camellia oil. This is rich in omega-9. It helps maintain the skin's natural barrier, leaving the skin looking hydrated, plumper, and more youthful. We also see, once again, that hyaluronic acid, a little bit lower on the list. Lauryl lysine, which is a skin softening and hair conditioning agent. What I thought was interesting about this is that it says it's popular in makeup formulations that promise long wear due to the exceptional adherence to skin, which maybe is going to give this concealer more like long wearing properties to have it really stick to the skin. There's also an ingredient called lysine. That's an amino acid. It helps the skin look more smooth and youthful. It seems like there's some decent science around most of these ingredients. The ones that were marketed that are like pretty much at the bottom of the list though, just so you guys know, is vitamin C or ascorbic acid. Very low on the list. There's also a glow peptide for a enhanced light reflecting finish. That's the lowest one on the list. And then finally, another one that I found that I thought was kind of interesting was colloidal gold. There's really no research to back this up, but some people say, you know, this helps activate cellular renewal for the skin, for anti-aging, but apparently there's just like not that much research behind it. So if I have any chemists in the audience here, any dermatologists, comment down below, let me know what you think of my assessment. Or if you're not a cosmetic chemist, let me know if this sort of ingredients rundown is helpful. What I'm seeing here is that at the top of the list, there's a lot of really good ingredients that give this its nice creamy texture and help the product adhere to the skin. And then kind of like as a bonus, we've got some nice skincare additives. So there's some really good ingredients in here. Just keep in mind those ones that were kind of very much lower on the list. Like I don't know how groundbreaking that vitamin C is gonna be for our skin. So I just kind of like to point that out, inform you guys, especially if you're interested in this for that skincare component. All right, friends, now that we're done talking about the ingredients, we're gonna head on over to the application. I'm gonna be putting this on in daylight, giving you guys a natural representation of what this looks like when you apply it to the under eyes and to the rest of the face. Just to let you know, I am 31, I have dry skin, I've got some hyperpigmentation, a little bit of like rosacea on the tops of the cheeks. The skin around my eyes, you know, it's very dry, it can be very prone to irritation, and So most of my concerns are I just want a concealer that is going to be brightening for the under eyes, but it's also very hydrating and doesn't settle into my fine lines, which are becoming more of a concern for me now that I'm getting into my 30s. So I just kind of like to put that out there. And with that, let's get into the demo application. Okay, party people, I've got you up close. It's time for me to demo this new Charlotte Tilbury concealer for you all. I have two shades right here. I have the shade number 1 Fair. This is the lightest shade. And then I also have the shade 2.5. I would say 2.5 is probably the better shade for me, but I'll sort of show you how I like to use these in conjunction. I found that a little bit difficult to choose a shade on the Charlotte Tilbury website. I'm usually fair, but with a neutral undertone. I'm usually one of the first kind of 3 to 4 shades if there is a big shade range. But unfortunately, the only like neutral shades were number 1 and then maybe like the 5th or 6th shade in the range. But I think what you guys will find is that the undertones on these are not super duper strong. So if that's helpful, I will mention that. Anyway, let's get into this application. If you guys are new here, I like to film in daylight in front of a window. It's a cloudy, rainy day, so we don't have as much sunshine as we normally do. But I think what you will find is that you'll be able to see the application in a very natural, realistic way without really fancy studio lights. So this is the packaging that we are dealing with right here. I'm going to take the shade 2.5 first. This is Fair 2.5, and I'll show you what the little applicator looks like. It is a doe foot applicator, but it's a lot smaller and thinner and skinnier than a lot of other ones that I have in my collection. I'm gonna just put this on the back of my hand first to show you what this looks like. It's quite opaque, but it's also very creamy. You can kind of spread that out there so you can get a sense of the texture. You can really build this up, but you also can sheer it out. Now, some people were saying they don't really care for this tiny applicator. I really don't have any issue with it. I think it's very easy to just kind of smear under the eyes, as I will demonstrate now. I don't have anything on my face. I have no foundation. I just put a little bit of like that e.l.f. halo glow. So if you're wondering where that glow is coming from, that's what it's from. But I like to take the darker of the 2 shades, and just because I have most of my hyperpigmentation like right here, I like to kind of draw that down. I know that is not the style of the moment, but that's what I like to do. So I just put a very even but sort of thin layer, not overdoing it, right? Because I don't want it to go into my fine lines that are right here. You can see right here, even before I blended it out, we're already getting some good coverage. Now I'm gonna blend this out with this Sephora brush. I will link all of my brushes in the description box down below. You guys always ask me where these brushes are from, and they are Sephora Pro brushes. I actually really like this one for potted foundations and also for concealers. So we're just blending this in. So this is what it looks like on my eyes with the shade 2.5 blended out, and it just blends like a dream. And I love the coverage that it gives me. When I look down, you can still see this is where my dark circles are, but when I look up, they're perfectly covered. Nothing is settling into any fine lines. There's no pilling, nothing bad or out of the ordinary. This honestly blends out so well. You can use your fingers. It's not so thin that you can't use a sponge and the sponge is gonna eat it up. Personally, I like to go in with a brush. For me, that is the best where I can get just enough coverage, but a really smooth, streak-free application. Now, if you're like me and you ordered a lighter shade, or you just like a brighter eye, that's kind of the style of the makeup that you enjoy, or you want a brighter eye, but you're kind of worried about it maybe caking up around certain parts of your eyes or of your face, I like to take the lighter shade. Again, this is Fair number 1, and I will just kind of highlight these darkest areas. You also could kind of go around the edge. I always have a lot of darkness right here, and I have a little broken blood vessel that's right there. Then I will go in with a smaller brush. This is just the smaller baby version of the other brush that I just used. I will lightly just kind of pat this in, but just where I need it. And what you will see is that this concealer layers really well on top of itself, but also on top of foundation, which I will demonstrate in just a moment. See how much brighter that looks? It instantly brightened up all of my imperfections. In fact, I feel like I could go without foundation today. I would feel perfectly confident. I love the way that it looks. It's very moisturized. It's not settling into any fine lines. It doesn't look cakey. And I want to show you what that swatch now looks like on my hand now that it has settled down a bit. It's not fully dried down yet, but you can see it has a very nice, radiant, moisturized look. And when I touch it, it feels very moisturizing to the touch. It has a very lovely texture, even though it has a lot of coverage. So even though I like the way that this is looking, I am gonna go and put some foundation on my face, and then we're gonna go in and maybe see if we can cover up some of the breakouts that I have here with the darker shades. So now I have my foundation on. I am wearing the Chantecaille Future Skin Foundation. I'll put a link and my shade in the description box down below. What I'm gonna do now is just attempt to spot conceal a tiny bit. I don't have a ton of spots, but I do have just kind of that redness that is here, a little right there. And that's why I like this small doe foot applicator, because it's very precise. I think it's really easy to get right on the point that you like. And I'm gonna put a little bit on my nose as well. Normally I would wear this concealer with the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation, but if you guys saw my review of that foundation, it didn't work super well with my skin. It really depends on the weather, and so I just didn't want to take that chance. Now I'm gonna take this little dense brush. This is from the Sonia G Fusion series, and I'm just going to lightly dab that in. Dab, dab, dab. It brightened up the entire center of the nose there, and it layers on top of foundation like a dream. And this is what the base application looks like. So I think that this looks really great. As I mentioned, I think it's very brightening, very creamy. I'm gonna go do the rest of my makeup, and then I'll be right back to show you what it looks like. All right, friends, so I have the rest of my makeup on. Just wanna show you what the concealer looks like when my makeup is finished. I'm actually wearing the new Wayne Goss Amber collection. I'm gonna be reviewing this for you guys soon. So that is what is on my eyes today, in addition to the eyeliner. I also wanna show you all just how you can kind of use this for touch-ups as well. I have a little brush here from BK Beauty. If you enjoyed the kohl liners from Wayne Goss or any other kind of smudgy eyeliner, like the ones from Victoria Beckham, for example, you can just take a little bit of the concealer on a brush, and you really can kind of snatch the line of the eyeliner. So I just wanted to show you all that this is great for kind of sculpting, touch-ups. You know, I got a little mascara down here earlier, so I'm also just going to blend all of that out. It's thick enough that you can brighten up those areas. You can kind of create a bit of sculpt. If you have a lighter color or a darker color, you might be able to use it for kind of highlighting and contouring, and it's brightening enough that it's gonna add a little bit of illumination right there. So it's great for touch-ups. It's great for kind of fixing your makeup as you go. So I just wanted to show you guys that. I hope that this demo was helpful for you all. Now I'm going to do a wear test. I am going to the dentist in about a half an hour, so we're really gonna put this to the test. I don't know if you guys are the same way, but when I come back from the dentist, I feel like my face feels and looks disgusting. So we're gonna see what my under eyes look like, and maybe we can also do a bit of a touch-up as well, and you guys can see how you can use this concealer to fix your makeup. So I will check in with you guys a little bit later in the day for my first daylight check-in. I'll see you there. What's up, friends? I am back from the dentist. I can't feel half of my face. I'm very numb. So if I sound a little weird, I apologize for that. But it's time for our 6-hour daylight check-in. It is now about 4 o'clock, so I've been wearing this for about 6 hours now. Like I said, I went and got some dental work done, so we really put this to the test. I was wearing some goggles, so please excuse the creasing that is on my face right now. But if we look at my under eyes, considering that I was like wincing with my mouth open for 2 hours straight, and that normally my skin gets really dried out when I am in that kind of environment, I think that it looks pretty good. Now, because I was going like this, like most of the time, you can see it's like, I don't know, it looks a little bit creased, like you can kind of see my fine lines, but it's not necessarily settling into them. And then on this side, I kind of had patted it in a little bit just so you can see the difference between this, hopefully you can see the difference, and this when I smooth it out. What I like about it is that even though I can kind of see my lines a little bit, I can smooth it out and it doesn't feel, or at least to me, look dry. Like it still looks very hydrated. It didn't wear off. I think that my under eyes are still nicely illuminated, nicely, you know, brightened, etc. If I kind of go back here, I think that it looks great. So after 6 hours, it's wearing great. What I don't like is when it starts to look dry, when it starts to pull away from the skin, look patchy, and that's not what I'm seeing. So I'm actually gonna use the concealer right now to touch up all these areas here where my makeup got worn away when I was at the dentist. So I'm gonna do that right now, and I'll just pop back in and you guys can see how it looks. I'm just gonna do it here in front of you guys. So we're touching up our skin with the Charlotte Tilbury concealer. I'm going in with my little brush, and I just wanna show you how I'm gonna smooth all of this out. I had glasses on, so I'm just kind of touching that little bit. Go in around here. It layers on top of makeup really nicely. I've done this many times and I feel like it just does a good job of smoothing everything out without getting cakey. Also, can we talk about how good my nose looks as well? They made me put on a mask in the waiting room and I still feel like my nose looks really good. It's really nicely set without getting dry. And I am just taking here from like the little top of the doe foot applicator. It's also miserable outside. I was walking out in the rain as well. So I just feel like we're putting this to the test and I'm going to the gym later. You're really gonna see how this lasts. That's it for my 6-hour check-in. I'm gonna check in with you guys a little bit later in the day and we can see how this wears after a couple more hours. Good evening, friends. It's time for the final check-in for this wear test. Now it is about 10 o'clock, so I've been wearing this concealer for at least 12 hours now. Since we last spoke, I finished up my work. I ran to the gym. I did some weightlifting. Now I'm doing some laundry, had some dinner. It's been a long day. And this is usually the point in the night where I'm kind of like a full-on Monet. Like from right here, I'm all right. But if I get in real close, it's like, kind of want to take this makeup off. So it's at the end of the day, I don't really expect my makeup to look perfect right now. But in terms of the concealer, I think it still looks pretty good. This is the point in the day, and I do have a ring light here so you can see what it looks like when it's bumped up, but also when it's bumped down. I have a little bit of fallout from the sparkles in my eyeshadow, but the concealer itself, it really looks good. Like it doesn't crease too much. I think after 12 hours, I am kind of noticing my fine lines a little bit more, but overall, I think that my under eyes look great. Also here where we did the touch-ups, I think it looks pretty good. It's getting a little bit dry now. Again, it's been 12 hours. I did a workout. I think around the nose as well, it's kind of all just like wearing off. So, you know, this is not going to be as long wearing as maybe the Too Faced Born This Way sculpting concealer. It might not be as long wearing as the KVD Good Apple concealer. Like those are a little bit more heavy duty. But what I like about this is that, as you saw, it's very easy to wear all day, touch up your makeup. It continues to make my skin, especially my under eyes, look moisturized. It has a little brightness to it. So I think, you know, at the end of the day, I'm really pleased with the way it wore. And I've been wearing this concealer nonstop for over a week, about 2 weeks now. And I've consistently seen the same thing every single time. That is our 12-hour wear test. Now I'm gonna sum up everything in my final thoughts, so I will meet you over there. All right, friends, I hope that demo and the wear test was helpful for you all. Now it's time for me to sum up all of my final thoughts and let you know what I think of this new concealer from Charlotte Tilbury. Do I hate it as much as the Beautiful Skin Foundation? Do I dislike it as much as the Magic Away concealer? No, I actually love this. I think it is a bomb concealer. I've really been enjoying it. Every time I go to use it for the past 2 weeks, I'm just excited to use it. I think it makes my under eyes look beautiful. I think it's great on acne, covering up my hyperpigmentation. I think this is a really good Goldilocks concealer that's gonna work for a lot of skin types and a lot of different people, because it's not too thick and cakey, but it's also like not super runny. So you kind of get that good balance of covering things up, brightening things up, but also not like getting gross and dry and settling into fine lines. So I really do like that about this concealer. If I were to compare this against another concealer that is in my collection, I think the most similar one would probably be the Uma Beauty concealer. It's called the Uma Beauty Stay Woke concealer. I will link that down below. It has a very similar creamy texture. I would say that this one from Charlotte Tilbury, it's probably just a tad more brightening. So maybe just kind of keep that in mind, but I really like the one from Uma Beauty. It's one of my favorite concealers. I didn't compare the ingredients, but just based off of the feel and the experience, those are the two that I think are probably the most similar. I know that not a lot of people liked the tiny doe foot applicator, but I think it's fine. I have no problem kind of smearing this underneath my under eyes. I really like to use this for touch-ups. You guys saw in the demo, I have used this to touch up my face in so many different occasions, and it doesn't get gross and cakey. Like Charlotte Tilbury said in the product description, this is buildable. You can build it up without it, once again, getting gross and cakey, etc. I think that it's long wearing. I really do think it lives up to all of the claims. I think that you can use this in conjunction with powder, but it's got a very natural finish, and so it's not going to be so dewy where you feel compelled to powder it. I like to leave it alone. I think if I start to use powder, my concealer gets cakey. It starts to make me look a little bit older. I think that this will work pretty well for mature skin, but if you want more of a matter effect, I do think that you can layer powder products over top of this. As far as the skincare aspect goes, you know, I've said this before in many reviews of products that I've done. First and foremost, I just want this to be a good concealer. I just want it to cover things up, wear really well, not irritate my eyes, and be rather moisturizing. I just want it to look good after like a regular work day, about 8 hours, for example. For me personally, the skincare, it's just a bonus. I have skincare. I have those actives that go straight onto my skin at the end of the night, and then other ones that go straight directly on my skin in the morning. Usually by the time I'm applying a product like this, I already have all my skincare, and if it's a regular day, 2 layers of sunscreen that have already kind of set onto my face. So I really don't know how much this is going to be providing me in terms of improving my skin over time. I'm not looking to this product to kind of turn back the sands of time and make me look super younger, but I think it's a really nice formulation. You know, a lot of those more expensive, interesting ingredients that this concealer is marketing are a little bit lower on the list. Just keep that in mind. The more common, I guess you could call them cheaper ingredients, are listed towards the top, and a lot of the ingredients that are at the top are contributing to the texture of the product. So for me, I really like that. I like the formulation and the ingredients. It's just something for you all to keep in mind based on your personal preferences. Like I said, I think this is going to work for a lot of different people and skin types. This is definitely going to be in my Sephora VIB sale recommendations video for this upcoming holiday season. I really like it. I feel comfortable recommending it to you, especially after testing it out quite a bit. If you're someone that doesn't want something so creamy, or you're really worried about sort of fine lines and wrinkles, some really good concealers that are a little more on the lighter side and more serum-y side that I would recommend would be number 1, the Giorgio Armani Power Fabric Concealer if you want something that is in the luxury category. Number 2, the Kosas Concealer if you want something in the clean beauty category. And number 3, the LYS Concealer for something that is really light, very moisturizing, and also very affordable. I will link all 3 of those down below. I am pretty interested to see how this concealer performs in the winter, because that is the true test for my under eyes, is if this can make my eyes look hydrated in the winters here in Boston, because it just gets so incredibly dry. And that's kind of the issue that I had with the foundation version of this product. I just didn't get along with it well. So I'm gonna keep testing this throughout the fall and the winter time. I'll keep you guys updated if I really like it. And if it's really good, it might end up on my best products of 2022. So we'll just have to wait and see. But in the meantime, I really like this. And sound off in the comments down below and let me know what you guys think of this, because I know that a lot of you have already ordered this. But then some of you are waiting for the Sephora sale and some other holiday deals. So comment down below. Let's help each other out. Let me know what you thought of this. Was this review helpful? What did you like about it? If you feel comfortable sharing, let us know what your skin type is and maybe your age, so we can understand, you know, what type of skin type you have and how you've gotten along with this. Please don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button to join the fam. And if you're not sure, just go over to my channel. You can check out some of the other videos that I've recently filmed, see what kind of brands I cover. I would love to be friends here on YouTube and also on Instagram. And with that, guys, I hope that you are having a fantastic day, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.